Revamp, yay! I'm doing week 1. As you know, I started this a little while ago and then life got in the way and I kind of had to drop it. But I'm back on track with the Artist Way, and I'm glad that there's been some people who said they would join me, which is so awesome. So I started with doing my morning pages, which is where you write 3 pages every morning. I can't say I wrote every day, but I did write most days, which is awesome. And then I do a page of affirmations as well. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I do like a weekly affirmation. Right now I'm using the Louise L. Hay, I think it's You Can Heal Your Life cards. And I use those and I pick a weekly affirmation and I'll write it over and over again. So this week the affirmation was, my thoughts are creative. So making sure you have good thoughts, which can be challenging in certain situations, but it's, you know, getting to realize, you know, your thoughts are creative about things. So I started with chapter 1, reading, doing the exercises, doing an artist date. I got my hair done at the end of last week, which was a lot of fun, and I'm really glad I did that. I'm also using stickers. I've got these My Little Pony stickers that I'm using in my book. So week 1 has us talking about shadow artists. So a lot of us suppress our creativity because we were told as children that it's a hobby, it's something that you do on the side. And sometimes we have to realize that we are artists and that we need to let that shine again. And some people suppress their creativity by going into a line of work that's close to what they want to do, but not quite. So if they're a writer, they might become a lawyer because it's very wordy, or they might become a critic, or if they're an artist, maybe they really want to do paintings, but they start doing advertising, things like that. So a lot of us pick shadow things instead of really embracing fully who we are. And that we need to protect the artist child within. So not showing, like when we start doing something, like let's say you start painting or sculpting or something, don't show, you know, the stuff that is beginner to somebody who's overly critical, because they'll just squash you. Show it to people who are supportive, or just keep it for yourself, you know. But look around to see who in my life is actually supportive of me and who's a negative Nelly. And then talking about negative beliefs, you know, a lot of us pick up negative beliefs from parents, from teachers, from people around us, even people that are well-meaning. We can pick up negative beliefs and really examining and looking at them, because often if we don't talk about them, then we don't really realize how deep that they are. So using affirmations is a really good tool to work with that. So if we recognize a negative thought, we can turn it into a positive affirmation and then work with that, even if it feels silly at first. And she has some suggested creative affirmations here, which I really like I am willing to create, I'm willing to learn to let myself create, there's a divine plan of goodness for me, things like that. And then she has the tasks. So she has you list some old enemies of your creativity and talk specifically about one thing someone did, and then write a letter defending yourself saying, you know, like, no. And it could be something for your childhood or something recent. You know, I picked something not really from my childhood, but I used to have an ex that was very, he would support me on the surface, but he would call down my artwork and he'd make me feel bad. So I would have an art show and people would come, and then he'd say, well, but you didn't sell anything. It's not, you know, you're not really successful unless you sold something. Things like that, just really negative little things. And he'd do it in front of other people sometimes, and so it would make me feel really bad about myself and second guess, and then I kind of would feel deflated and like, oh well, maybe they're right, maybe I'm not really successful, things like that. So that's one story, but I'm sure we all have them. We all have stories like that where people deflate us or make us feel bad about our creativity. And then she has you talk about 3 old champions or 3 people who really encouraged you, especially as a child, to be creative, and then to write a thank you letter, even if you never send it. So I've had some creative champions in my life. I've had, you know, a prof that was really, you know, supportive of me, supportive of like my band, all sorts of things. I also have a dear friend who supports and comes to all my shows and encourages me and has bought art for me, and she's just amazing, and she's a wonderful creative person herself, and I really thank you for your creativity. Hi, Rochelle. Thanks for everything. And I have other friends too that are awesome too, so not to leave them out. And then she talks about imaginary lives as well. So if you had 5 imaginary lives to live, what would they be? And then you pick one of those and you pick something you could do. Like, let's say you want to be a photographer. Well, get out your camera, take a few pictures, you know. Let's say you wanted to, I don't know, you wanted to be a cowboy or a knight or something. Well, maybe you could go find somewhere where you could ride a horse for a little while. So things like that, like doing these little things that make you, you know, kind of connect you with those things that you would like to do. So that was week 1. So week 1's really just about reconnecting with yourself and talking about some of the crappy things that have held you back, but also about the people who supported you and loved you and, you know, continue to support you. So let me know for you, what would you say is somebody that supported you, and who is somebody that did not support you? Don't have to name names or anything, but just say, you know, like your story or whatever, because I'd love to hear it, because I know we all have them. So thank you very much for joining me again. We'll try doing this again, and I'll talk to you later.